Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are working on the Comanche. We are gonna do an axle swap. So stock, this thing has a Dana 35. Let me show you because that thing looks tiny. So here's the Dana 35. It looks like a pencil. This thing's gonna break with the power of the LS. So we are gonna swap it. What we didn't know is that this Jeep, it actually has the Chrysler 8.25. I found that out the other day when we were taking out some wiring from the bottom. So I was like, yo, that's the perfect axle to swap it to the MJ. So we do have to make some modifications to it, but it shouldn't be too hard. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So we're gonna take that one off. John will probably work on this one to remove this one. That way we can swap them at the same time. So pretty much what we have to do here is remove the plate up here. That's what holds the axle to the leaf spring. And again, this is my first time working on a leaf spring Jeep. I've worked on other leaf spring cars, but not the Jeeps. So this is a first for me. These bolts will take off the sway bar, and then we have to remove the shock, and then afterwards we'll do the brake lines on the other side. And we do have an issue with this side. This side does not spin. It's locked up in there, so we'll have to check that out as well, but we'll do that after. But there it is, 8.25. All right, so we took off the axle from both sides. On this XJ, it feels like we're cheating, dude. This came out so easy. I can see why a lot of people like to work on these. The next step is to remove the brakes, and then we should be good. All right, so to disconnect the brake lines, we have one up there that we need to loosen up. And it has that bracket we need to remove as well. It's leaking oil, so I have to clean that up. We got the axle out. Like I said, this was honestly really easy to do. It wasn't really hard to remove an axle from an XJ. So this is not a Dana 35. It looks round, but it's not. It has a flat bottom, so that makes it the Chrysler 8.25 axle. It does have drum brakes, but I think so does the stock axle on the MJ, so that'll be fine. And that's what it looks like. It definitely needs some spray paint, and like I said, this wheel was like stuck on there, so we're gonna have to take that apart and figure out why it's stuck in there. And this side does not rotate. It's very hard to turn, so there's something going on with that one. We're gonna have to open it up and check it. But I mean, other than that, open it up, check the gears, make sure all that's good, and yeah. Booster still hasn't taken the one off of the MJ, so we're gonna have to do that in a sec. And this is how this side mounts. So this axle is over the leaf spring, versus on the XJ, it's under the leaf spring, so that's what we're gonna have to flip. Shouldn't be a big deal, so let's go ahead and remove this. I almost forgot, we have a lift. Might as well lift it up instead of working on the floor. So we got the axle removed from the MJ. This is the old one, and we're trying to measure the mounts so that we could weld them in the same place over here. We're gonna cut off the ones that it does have and just put it on the bottom side. That way it just bolts up to the leaf springs that are already on here. We're gonna use that piece that was originally holding the shock again. So for now, we are gonna be cutting that up and trying to take those brackets off. Hopefully we can save them. I was trying to hit you. So I'm tightening down the axle. These U-bolts are the original from the 8.25. We're using the MJ plates. They are a little bit too short, so we do need longer ones. We had ordered those over there, but those are 3-inch, and those seem too big for this. It wouldn't line up with the holes on the plate either, so we're gonna go with 2 3/4, and that should fit. The stock MJ ones aren't wide enough for the axle tube, so you cannot use those. And this plate we also didn't put in because those aren't long enough, but we just needed to be able to roll right now, so we're just gonna send it. And the reason you want to use this plate from the MJ is because you can add your shock right there. It has the shock mount. So that's what we will do for now, and that way we can work on other things like the gas tank and giving fuel to the motor. So on this side, we were missing one of the pins that holds down the brake shoe. We got some new ones from Dorman, so we're gonna put that in. That way we can put the drum brakes on and put the wheels on. And if you've never done drum brakes, these are really simple. You stick the pin through the back. There should be a hole, you can see it right there. It literally goes through the hole on the brake shoe, and then you put the little cap down. And you put the spring on it with the bigger side towards the outside, and then there's those little caps, and that's what locks in the pin. Just like that one right there. So the next step is like to figure out the pinion angle of the axle, so we can weld these perches to the axle. So we can weld these mounts to the axle themselves, but to do that, we obviously need to have the transmission in place where it's going to be sitting. We're still going to be messing with the cross member and the mount, We're waiting for that to come in. So once it does, we'll go ahead and finish the rest of the install. So I put the brake lines on from the 8.25 axle, everything bolted up. The only issue I was having with this, the brake line right here that attaches to the block, it's kind of short. The original mount was back here where these holes are. And then this piece of metal bent like this way and then up and over to attach there. So what I did is I unbolted it. We're gonna bolt it up around this area. And then this was going that way and I just like twisted it this way like that and everything connected. So pretty simple. The issue is the e-brake. So this side is shorter. For the XJ, it's mounted like around this area. For this, it's right in the middle. So we still don't have the purchase welded on, not a big deal, but we did get new U-joints on the homemade drive shaft just so we could drive it around, test it. Update on everything, we've done a lot. I mean, we got the turbo manifold, crossover pipe there, we got transmission cooler lines, we got a new gearbox, just a lot of parts that you guys haven't been seeing, but you guys can check it out on his channel, Booster Motorsports.